Good morning, Multiverse. Merry Christmas. Hey there, friends and foes. Welcome to another exciting episode of Back of the Cereal Box. I am your host, the prophet of pop culture, John Pica, and we are going to be joined by a couple of cool co-hosts this morning. We'll talk more about that in just a moment, but we're going to talk about cool Christmas loot, the best and worst of 2020, and also the question of the day, red pill or blue pill? And we'll get to that right now. All right, guys and gals, welcome back to Back of the Cereal Box. Now, as you saw in that intro video, our normal co-hosts are Aubry and Dee. However, AT&T is out regionally because of the bombing that was in Nashville yesterday. And we are joined by our guest this week, who has now become a co-host, the one, the only, the Mr. Dave Mattingly. Good morning, Dave.
Hello. Pleasure to see you here.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. And then we have a surprise co-host. I'm so excited that Dave is with us, and I'm excited that super fan Cindy Koepp is with us. Good morning, Cindy.
Hey, thanks for letting me come play today.
I'm excited to have you guys with me. And so for our viewers who are tuning in for the first time, here's how this works. We've got a couple of viewers. Please, as we're doing the show, post your comments, and we will address them throughout the show. And as you guys know, or you may not know, and Dave and Cindy, I don't see a big bowl of breakfast cereal in front of you, but I am going to enjoy Captain Crunch's Christmas Crunch. And you know, for some reason, I thought Captain Crunch was a peanut butter flavored cereal, but they have a peanut butter flavor. But I opened it up.
Peanut butter crunch.
Yeah, and this was fruity smelling. But you guys remember when we were kids, we didn't have iPads or iPhones at the breakfast table. We had the back of the cereal box. And this one is particularly good because you got the maze you got to do. There's a thing to see how many of the crunch cereal you can find. Can you find all of the candy canes? There are 13, by the way. They ask if you only can find 10. I found 13. And then you get to draw down here what you think that the Crunch Beast is dreaming about. The good old days, Dave.
Well, I'm East Coast time, and I'm an early bird, so I had my breakfast about 3 hours ago. But I am an expert on all things Cap'n Crunch. You didn't know that. In fact,
no, I didn't.
I have a functioning Cap'n Crunch decoder.
That's fabulous. You can send codes to all your pals.
That is amazing.
Secret Cap'n Crunch messages. And I'm going to try to share a screen here, if I can show you this.
Mm-hmm. Wow, Dave is a
there you go.
guy.
Can you see that?
Hold on. Now we can.
There you go.
That's
this
fabulous.
Would be back in the late 80s, a homemade Cap'n Crunch costume.
That is fantastic. So one of the things, Cindy, that Dave always impresses me with, because I met him.
Uh-oh.
And then he ran away.
Yeah, no, I messed that up. I met Dave at Imaginarium, I guess maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and he does the funniest cosplay. It's ironic cosplay, mostly. What did you do last year?
I will share once again. You may have seen this one before. I can't remember. No?
No, I never saw that. That's
Okay.
hysterical.
Mini me, yes, it is funny and disturbing in equal amounts. It's a hoot.
That is hysterical.
That's great.
I couldn't remember if we had met at Imaginarium or if it was at Conglomeration. Conglomeration, for the past several years, it's also in Louisville, and it usually takes place on Easter weekend. First, because like a scheduling thing, the hotel changed names and management. They dropped kind of, oh my God, what opened it? Okay, that's the only weekend, we'll do it. And then it turns out that the attendance didn't really change. So, well, let's just do this all the time. Nobody else wants Easter weekend, so we'll always have it handy. Last time, this is what it was for Conglomeration, since it was on the Easter weekend. Is that showing?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let me try once again. A local haunted house was going out of business and selling off some of their costumes. And I picked up this creepy rabbit costume, but one of the gloves was missing. So I thought, I'll get another glove, but I couldn't find a good. Well, you know what would go even better is a chainsaw hand. So I was the Ashter Bunny from the Easter Dead series.
That is hysterical.
Plaatu Verata Hassan Pfeffer.
And that was at Conglomeration?
Yes, Conglomeration is no more. This year was going to be the final year, 20 years with the same team running it the whole time. They were burned out and felt like it was too hard to like pass on or whatever to an entire new team. This was going to be the last one, but then, April, nobody could do anything. So we went without, but that was it. And then, of course, the next day I preached about, I don't remember what I preached about. I've been preaching Easter Sundays at Conglomeration for, 6-7 years or something.
And that's how I met you at Imaginarium. Mm-hmm. You were doing a Sunday morning service, and I'm a former music minister and volunteered to lead music. And as they say, the rest is history.
Very nice.
Or tragedy, depending on how you look at it.
Well, history, tragedy, and comedy are all the same, depending on which way you look.
That's right. Now, Cindy, you are into all things literature and speculative fiction. Are you also into cosplay or comics or anything like that? Tell us about Cindy.
Woo. I write mostly science fiction, fantasy, and gamelit. We're currently turning my most recent gamelit novel into a comic book series. So the first issue has been approved, and the artist is working on it while I write the second one.
That's fantastic. Who's doing it?
Bear Publications is running it. They were the publisher for the novel. The artist is Raul Cruz out of the Philippines.
Okay, outstanding. How cool!
Yeah, great fun.
Now
it's been a huge learning curve.
Yeah. Now, did they just? Is he drawing from the novel, or did you have to put it into script form?
I put it into script form. So we split the novel into 6 parts. I wrote the script for part 1 with a little help from my friends because I had no idea what I was doing. I learned very quickly though. Got that approved and into the artist's hands about 2 weeks ago.
That's outstanding. Is there an ETA on release date yet?
Issue 1 is expected to come out around the 1st of March.
That is phenomenal.
The subsequent ones will come out about every 4 months after that for 2 years.
That's great. That's great. Well, hey, as a transition, speaking of novels to comics, one of our sponsors is my cosplay / comic project, the League of Impossibilists. Let's take a look, shall we?
Wow.
Great. The League of Impossibilists. And Cindy is one of our patrons. She's one of our fans, and
Yay.
greatly, greatly appreciate that. And Dave, you were commenting on email that you were so excited to see Madame Dark in that promo video.
Oh, yeah. She is a lot of fun.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun doing that. And we had our Christmas get together the other day, and chowed out on some Olive Garden fettuccine Alfredo. So now comes the part of the show that I'm most excited about.
I'm going to share one more photo with you here,
Go ahead.
if you don't mind.
I love it that Dave has adapted the technology like that.
It's my day job. I've been speaking at tech conferences and stuff for a long time. And like Cindy, I came from the role-playing industry. Started writing for games in '92. Eventually, we spun off into novels, sci-fi, fantasy, and horror mostly, but then eventually romance, mystery, etc. This is a selection that a newspaper did on me. You guys can see. Yeah,
yes.
I retired from that like 5 years ago, but I think altogether maybe 100 or so games and maybe 300 novels over the years, plus so many magazines and things like that. So I have fun with all sorts of deals. I wrote some. Mostly I just published others after. The first time I was published is in the early '90s. Oh my gosh, this is so cool! I got a book, and then the next time, it's kind of fun still too. And then, okay, well, whatever. It's just work now, But then, I would like to share that feeling of getting out there for the first time with other people. So I started publishing other people's things.
That is awesome. That is fantastic. I had no idea you were so prolific as a publisher. I knew you, from Imaginarium. You had talked about role play games and your development of those, but I had no idea you did all of the other writing and publishing.
Yeah. If you had gone to Imaginarium a few years earlier when I was still running the company, you would have seen that I had the back wall.
Wow.
Like 7 or 8, 9 tables long with the books, the games, all the other things that we had been doing, and a whole big pile of authors. It was. I tried not to overwhelm the entire convention.
Well, so what happened? You retired from that. Did you sell the company? Did it just cease publication?
That kept getting bigger and more popular and all of that. My preaching and teaching engagements kept coming, more often, more commonly, and my tech stuff, all the conferences and things. They were all getting really big and had me really busy. So I was getting average at a whole bunch of things, which wasn't helping anybody because I was spread out. So the publishing was the easiest thing to chop off. So my former VP now runs it out of Nashville, and he's been doing, out of Nevada, and he's been doing that since.
Outstanding. Well, that's really awesome.
And I have a serial game I would like to show you briefly if you have a moment.
Yes, let's.
All right. A friend of mine years ago in Chicago, he wrote for my magazine, and we would see each other at the cons and play games, things like that. And we had the same kind of sense of humor and absurdism. So he wrote a game adventure with cereal-based characters. Cap'n Crunch, Tony the Tiger, Sugar Bear, etc., all going on grim and gritty adventures. They don't know they're silly. It's all deadly serious to them. So the first plot he ran these guys through for all of us at the convention was Watchmen, to give you an idea of the kind of feel he's going for. And I just, this is the best thing ever. I love it. So I started kind of co-doing it all with him or kind of spreading the word. I've ran them through the plot of Aliens, kind of combined with Independence Day. And most recently, I've been doing Night of the Living Crunch, taking them up against zombies who want to eat your grains, things like that. And he has done the best title he's come up with. One was based on Apocalypse Now. Somebody once said, I love the taste of breakfast cereal in the morning. It tastes like victory. So I'll say, okay, so next year I'm going to run one about that, Captain Crunch going over the edge, and it will be called A Box of Tricks Now. Oh, man, that is just beautiful.
Is fantastic.
Oh, I know, yeah. But here, I played in a game a few years ago. A friend of mine was running called the League of Extraordinary 70s Gentlemen. And he went over the top with his props. The character sheets were all on 8-track tapes. He printed stickers and put them on there and kind of rubbed them and aged them so they looked like they'd been there a while. And the outer box was all your background and everything. And he had miniatures, little figures, and he had the whole Smokey the Bandit truck and everything. Oh, wow. So that kind of inspired me. So I found a way to actually get one piece of 8.5 by 11 paper to fold onto a cereal box. This is your character. Here are your game stats and your background and the secret ingredients. So in this case, Toucan Sam, his ingredients, his nutrition facts are that he is fruity and loony. The serving size, that's his damage. 5 dice with a beak and 2 dice with talons. Warning, contents are under pressure. His ingredients are fear, loathing, deduction, aromatherapy, ecoterrorism, discrimination, and arrogance.
This is phenomenal, great. Dave.
I know. I've got a whole set of them. It's a blast. Oh my god.
So that has never been published, or is it just something you guys did?
It was in a magazine once, but yeah, okay. It's not something you can go out and buy. I know there's some legal entanglements with rights, but dude, that is brilliant. It is cool. I know. I'm going to share one more screenshot with you here, and then I think that'll be it for the day here. Here they all are at the table. Instead of seeing pieces of paper for your character sheets, this is what you choose from.
Listen, I am not into role-playing games, but I want to be now. Seeing this, I want to do this. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, this is phenomenal. I'm blown away.
Yeah.
You're
bringing on a ringer for the show, did you?
No, I knew that you had a background in gaming, but I had no idea that you had such extensive background and that you had done that much kind of custom stuff. I'm trying to adjust my camera here; it's wonky. Yeah. That is phenomenal. And when you were describing the concept, doing those adventures, recreating the stories from classic movies, I'm thinking to myself, this needs to be an animated series. Wouldn't that be epic? Captain Crunch and Toucan Sam and Cuckoo the Cocoa Bird and Tony the Tiger having these epic, serious adventures.
Yeah, Sonny has the power to go berserk. He is the Hulk of the group,
Every group needs a tank.
Yeah. And of course, he's trying to fight the addiction. So Count Chocula understands the need to feed. He's helping him through the Chocoholics Anonymous program. And we have all kinds of great fun with it.
This is unbelievably cool. All right. So this is actually now on the best. You know what? I'm gonna the one. What was one of the titles that you gave? The slogan from Apocalypse Now.
I love the tricks now.
But I love the taste of.
It came from the line from Apocalypse Now. It was originally. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. It smells like victory, and he changed it to breakfast cereal. I love the smell of breakfast cereal in the morning. It smells like victory.
I am going to steal that slogan for the show. Should I do it, Magic 8 Ball? Will it turn out well?
I will tell my buddy Joe that he has inspired you. In fact, I'm going to be gaming with him later on today.
Ooh, this says reply fuzzy. Try again. Should I use that slogan for this show?
That means you can keep on doing it.
My resources. Oh, it says yes.
Yay!
Magic 8 Ball has spoken.
And it said try again. So you can just keep on doing that slogan as much as you want. You apparently have rights into perpetuity.
All right.
I love the smell of breakfast cereal in the morning. It smells like victory.
Yes.
Outstanding.
And I did come across a series of stickers, collectible goofy stickers. You might remember the wacky packages growing up, depending on your age. Yeah.
Yes.
There is one from a group called, I think, Wax Eye is the name. And they have a line, I think it is actually called Serial Killers, like the name of our game.
Oh, yeah.
And they have some hilarious ones. One of my favorites is Children of the Cornflakes. And they have Silence of the Grams, and they have these fake cereal boxes with that stuff on it. It's a lot of fun. You should check some of those out. I think they have like at least 4 different series of like 50 each or something. You can get all kinds of ridiculous cereal stickers.
I'm gonna have to hunt those out. So, Cindy, what is your like obsession? Collectibles or something that you like hunt out and seek out?
Craft stuff, so I can do all my different weird costumes and I can make all the interesting dragons and things like that.
And you're into hats.
What kind of costumes are you most known for?
Sorry?
What kind of costumes are you most known for? What do you like to do?
I've only recently gotten into that game. It's been about a year or so. But I have a Renaissance costume, steampunk, Petronella Osgood from Doctor Who.
Okay. I know the old Doctor Who's, Tom Baker, and I've seen a couple here and there, but I'm not current with it at all.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta pull your geek card, Dave. No, don't feel bad. I've never seen a single episode of Doctor Who, but shh, don't tell any of our viewers. They'll be angry.
If nothing else, watch the episode called Blink. You don't need to know anything else, any of the other Doctor Who. It's self-contained, and it is very, very good. Blink.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun. The one I'm working on now is actually, I got most of the parts to do it for Christmas, was a Kenku costume. I'm emulating the characters on the front cover of my book, Condemned Courier.
All right. Very cool. I see, and I only play my own original characters. So, hey, we've got some comments.
Yeah.
Pops Van Zant says, Cindy, and you guys too.
Oh, no.
And he also says, I love the smell of racing fuel in the morning. A race NASCAR track thing. I get it. And for those of you who are watching, post a comment. But if you want to join us on air, you can do it just by joining our StreamYard link right there. And you can come on for a few minutes and share what Santa brought you. So I'm going to segue to that. You guys might appreciate this, especially you, Dave. Have you ever played Cards Against Humanity?
Once. My inner 12-year-old gets tired after a couple minutes.
Well, so here's the deal. Cindy, are you a Cards Against Humanity fan? Have you played it?
I've heard of it, but I've not played it.
Well, all of my friends love it, and I've never played it because it's so vulgar. But my daughter got me Cards Against Humanity, the Family Edition. So it is clean for all ages 8 and above.
It's an empty game?
No, we're going to play it tonight, so I'll be able to review it. But hey, we have another guest joining us. I'm so excited. D'Elle Memphis from Tennessee.
How are you doing?
We're doing great this morning, D'Elle. What are you, did you munch on any breakfast cereal this morning in honor of being on the show?
You know what? I'm sticking strictly with tea this morning. I'm still recovering, so sticking strictly with the tea.
All right. Well, you're welcome to stick with us. And we're getting echo off of your monitor.
Oh, are you still getting an echo?
It's only when I'm talking. Oh, that fixed it. Whatever you did, fixed it. Daryl fixed it.
Daryl did.
All right. Good job. Good deal. So I'm sharing what I got for Christmas. So Cards Against Humanity Family Edition. I'm super excited to play this tonight. And I also picked up some graphic novels that I'm super excited about. Volume 2 of Once and Future. Do you guys know anything about the Once and Future comic series?
No.
This series recasts the King Arthur legend. And, the prophecy that King Arthur will return in England's greatest hour of greatest need is actually a prophecy about him. It's not that he will save them from their hour of greatest need. He causes their hour of greatest need. And King Arthur is a villain who has been resurrected by a cult. And the descendants of Merlin have been fighting against the return of King Arthur since his initial death. And it reads like a movie. It's unbelievably good. Very cool. I also picked up Peter Panzerfaust Volume 3 Trade Edition.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Wow.
Have you read this, Dave?
I have not heard of it, but I love the title. Oh, my goodness.
So it recasts Peter Pan and the Lost Boys as Nazi hunters during World War II.
They're the Howling Commandos. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it is an unbelievably cool series. And I have all 4 volumes. I was missing Volume 3, and I finally got it for Christmas. So super excited about that. And then
I love your little one there. He looks just like you.
I know, we're twins.
Yeah.
Did you get a Grogu?
I did.
Yay.
I've been making him force things like bring me the coffee, bring me the cake. Okay.
So, John, there's a trilogy of novels that I think you'll get a kick out of along the King Arthur line in modern times by Peter David. You probably know him as the comic writer.
Yeah.
I think one of them was called a One Night Stand, Knight. They all have plenty of titles with Knight. I forget what they're all called, but look up Peter David, King Arthur, and it's a very, very good. He becomes mayor of Chicago, things like that. Interesting stuff.
You know what? I am going to check that out. I am a King Arthur legend fanatic. Now I can't say this. Up until that moment, I could say that I've read and seen every King Arthur story that is out there, but now I got to go find something new.
You've been slacking.
I'm not. Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not an enormous fan of Peter David, and it has nothing to do with his writing.
Mm-hmm.
I did an interview with him for a website one time, and he was particularly rude to me. And I've just been soured on his work a little bit ever since.
Well, he has strong opinions. I'll grant you that.
Yeah. I also picked this up. For those, I'm going to go kind of, wrong one here. I'm going to go full screen for me. This is the hardcover collection of Adventure Man. And this is super large size. I'm getting sun behind me. Sorry about that, guys. This is super deluxe. To give you a comparison, this is normal comic size, oversized hardcover. This was my favorite comic series this year. It is a diesel deco punk adventure with written by Matt Fraction and art by Terry and Rachel Dodson. Terry Dodson has become my favorite artist. And just gorgeous work, gorgeous artwork. And you can't even tell the detail on that. That's too busy. But, really great art deco buildings and sets. And it's set in the 20s. And just a phenomenal series. Adventure Man, I highly recommend it. Basically, everyone thinks that Adventure Man was a fictional character until we discover this this character Claire inherits his power in modern times, and to find clues about what she's becoming, she goes back and rereads the original Adventure Man series to learn the history of who she is now becoming. Does that make sense?
The art style reminded me a little bit of Rocketeer.
Yes. Yeah. Rocketeer, Dark City, Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
Oh, I
It's in
love
that
so
genre.
much. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish
that
I'd have
genre.
gotten so much bigger.
You know, Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow is a franchise it's a property that deserved to become a franchise. And I'm sad that it didn't.
I watch that at least once a year.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's on regular rotation in my office. Willard Schuyler is watching. So she says, "Good morning, everyone."
Hi,
Morning, Willow.
And two last things I want to share, and then you guys can share your. Well, no, I got this sweatshirt, this nifty Vader Claus sweatshirt. What was I was singing about this the other night. What was the song I came up with? I'll remember it in a little bit. Beskar Mando. Black
Oh, wow. Nice.
This is incredibly difficult to find. I got one. And then, even more difficult than Beskar Mando.
So what's with him? I see his long disintegrator type rifle and something smaller. Is that a little blaster?
Yeah, so he's got his blaster, his pistol, the disintegrator rifle, and his jetpack.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah. And I have the brown and the brown one, the original, episode 1 costume. But the Beskar armor has been impossible to find. I finally got it. And then, thanks to a great friend, I got
all right,
Ahsoka, my
there
favorite Star Wars character. This one, the new Black Series, Rebels Black Series, impossible to find. And I have a friend who has a hookup with Lucasfilm because he hosts one of their official podcasts, and I got Ahsoka. Na. So, what did Santa Claus bring for you guys? Anything fun? Anything exciting?
Go ahead, Cindy.
All right. Well, I got a bunch of craft stuff to make that costume, but then I also got.
Wear it periodically. Excellent. The element of humor.
And then I got a few Doctor Who's. Some of the older ones.
Now, are those individual comics or are they collected editions?
Oh no, these are DVDs.
Oh.
So I got
one
from each of 4 different Doctors.
Who's your favorite?
Actually, my favorite Doctor is one that doesn't make the top 5 list very often. The 9th Doctor, Chris Eccleston. I thought he played a very relatable Doctor for someone who's coming out of a major conflict and trying to recover from that. And so I had a lot of fun with watching that part of the series. Some of the others come in near seconds, but that one still remains on top.
Excellent. Anything else you want to share with us?
Let's see. Oh, I got a little figurine of a peculiar Santa with an owl on his arm. I like birds and parrots, owls, and all those cool critters. So he's got an owl on his arm and a bunch of other little animals standing around him.
I love Santa.
Yeah,
that's great. That's fantastic. D'Elle, any other treats that Santa left under your tree?
I got some great treats this year. My favorite thing, I'm not normally big into collecting like houses and little village displays, but the Mister got me the Addams Family mansion.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I know. It's a Department 52, and there's like a lot of pieces that come with it. Obviously, I haven't taken it out of the box yet, but I did get the Addams Family mansion along with Morticia Gomez and
Wow.
President Wednesday to start my collection.
That is fantastic.
So yeah, I'm a bit of a gothy geek girl. So anytime I can
Couldn't
find
have guessed from your
something.
background.
I'm sorry.
Couldn't have guessed from your background there.
No, not at all, not at all. But
Totally out of place.
my youngest child actually got me an Elvira wallet. I'm a huge
Great. Oh my
Elvira
God.
fan.
Wow.
I may have been accused of stalking her. Of course, you saw Grogu, and this is one of the cooler things that I've got. It's the yeah.
That's
So
cool.
Nice.
It's the red hood. Yeah,
Nice.
love this. This was really cool. I was not expecting this one at all, but yeah, he's super cool.
Is that
And
metal?
no, actually, he's resin. He
Okay,
feels
okay.
he feels very similar. I've got a couple of the pinup versions. I'm drawing a blank. Aunt Lucia's pinup, like Wonder Woman and
The
Catwoman.
DC bombshells.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The DC bombshells.
That's correct.
Right,
DC bombshells. I'm sorry. But he feels very similar weight wise. Not quite as heavy, but very similar. And of
I
course,
really like the Hawk Girl bombshell they did. She's probably my favorite out of those.
oh yeah, I love her. My favorite, of course, I love Wonder Woman. My favorite is Catwoman. The one thing that I find being a cosplayer is that she's kind of hard to translate. I see a lot of people who do her that she almost looks somewhere between. Almost when I did her, people kept calling me Audrey Hepburn. Like what? Like really? Okay.
So D'Elle, Will or Skylar just commented that you and she may need to compare Elvira's swag because she is a huge Elvira fan herself. She says.
Well, it doesn't really qualify as swag, but I have Elvira's signature tattooed on my back.
Wow.
Who has accused me of stalking her before. Just kidding. No, she did at an event, but she was super sweet. Absolutely love her. But yes, I would love to compare Elvira swag. If so, she would like to see my shrine someday, and that's actually what it is. It's an Elvira shrine. And of course, last but not least, I did get some awesome comic book reading. If you've been watching or reading Umbrella Academy. These are okay. So I had the first volume, and so now I have the next two. So
okay, so I got a question.
Yes.
That is that a Netflix original? Is that right? It's on Netflix.
Yes,
yeah,
I do believe it is.
I love the show. I've never read the comics, but Netflix has adopted a lot of comics from from that genre, from Dark Horse and from IDW lately. They did Lock and Key, which was a pretty decent series. It wasn't great. The comic series is much, much better. But I loved Lock and Key enough to go out and buy the collected editions of the comics. They did what was it? The family, the Monster Hunter family that was such an awesome graphic novel, and the show was so bad. I can't even remember what it was. October Faction.
Okay.
Great graphic novel series. Fantastic. And the show was just, but I love Umbrella Academy. How does the show compare to the source material? Because I've never read the graphic novels.
It's quite a bit different. The show has taken a lot of liberties with the characters themselves. Specifically, the one that stands out is Klaus. Although he can communicate with the dead and stuff, he's also kind of seen being able to levitate and all kinds of things. But I would say that it kind of rolled off to the side a little bit, but it's still, it's hard to take a comic collection like that and make it into a TV show because one of the characters is basically a violin. So it's kind of hard to, I think, pull that off in the world that they're creating.
So Vanya is literally a violin?
Yes.
I had no idea.
She has the body of a violin at one point.
Wow.
Okay.
Some other Netflix originals. Everybody likes Stranger Things, but I was really happy with Lost in Space. Much better than I expected it to be.
I have not checked that out yet. It's on my list. It's worth watching.
It is highly worth watching. Yes.
All right. All right. D'Elle, any other treats you want to share?
I do have one little awesome one that I think you'll really enjoy. So, yes, my love of vintage toys caught up with me this year.
Oh my gosh, you have the stand too to launch it. That is wonderful.
This is actually the replica. There's a company.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a company that came out and remade these because I do collect vintage toys, and this one has a tendency to be a little bit hard to find in good shape. But I mean, they did. It's very much in the vein of the original, and yeah. So I wanted that, but yeah, it's. I love you can actually get the noise.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah, that company has been advertising on social media really strong. I mean, their ads are phenomenal because they have understood that whole nostalgia market. And, they nailed it. Every man, their commercial says, every man has a boy inside that played with an Evel Knievel toy. And so they're marketing them to our age. So I love it. I love it.
There is a nifty Facebook group. I think it's called the Retro Toy Vault or something pretty similar to that. I think you'll all enjoy that one.
I'll check that out. Yeah. What was that, D'Elle?
I'll have to look for it. I do follow. There's a vintage monster toy group that I'm in, but I haven't seen the monster or the vintage toy vault yet.
So speaking of vintage monster toys, Mego did the Universal Monsters way back when, and Mego has come back. Have you seen any of the new Universal Monsters collection from Mego?
I don't think that I have yet, but I will definitely look for it.
Target has them. Of all places. Yeah.
Target was a couple of years ago during Halloween, they actually came out with the Universal Monster mask collection that was very similar to what you would have got back in when I was little trick-or-treating. So we bought like all of those. So Target has actually launched the Universal Monsters in the past with pretty good success. There was a guitarist, John Five, I think, that actually got one of the masks and repainted it and wore it on stage and just called a lot of attention to it. So it's really cool.
The Ben Post Halloween costumes. You remember those?
Yes. I was actually just talking about those yesterday with my brother.
You could wear them for like 5 minutes before they disintegrated.
Yeah, and you'll have to move the mask up or they crack on the side. Lord forbid you should try to look where you're going.
Yay.
All right, Dave.
Yeah. A friend of mine used to have the Universal Monster bobbleheads, and including the Martians.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Now, did you get anything special under the tree?
Well, we didn't do Christmas this year, and I may explain why if the topic comes up. But here is something I know you'll get a kick out of. I got this earlier in the year. Young Frankenstein with the thumb on fire.
All right, so everyone has to do it with me. Ready? If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Awesome.
And at the same time,
oh,
that's great.
Yeah,
I've not seen that
together.
Line. What line is that?
I don't know. It says stance, so it is officially after him, and it was like this. It wasn't in a box. It was used. I got it at a comic book store. They were having a yard sale kind of thing. Hey, $5 or $10, or well, yeah, I'll pick that up for sure. Whatever it was.
That's fantastic.
Lots of fun, and probably my favorite of the year, Thrackazog. Or Box of Frogs, or Susan, the snot monster creature from the Tick.
Ew.
That was tons of fun. A local theater, it closed down a few years ago after a long run. Just this is a good time to stop. They did the Tick as a stage play. They're the ones who would usually do Evil Dead the musical and fun stuff like that. They're always a hoot to go to. That's where I started off doing a lot of my improv.
Fantastic.
And one final thing.
Yes.
I'm going to pass this along to somebody else. But check this album.
Oh, wow.
And I did not know they made picture discs.
Rocky Horror Picture Show vinyl album picture disc. Unbelievable.
I know. A friend of mine is kind of a Rocky Horror archivist. So I'm going to, if he doesn't have that, or if he already has it, I'm going to pass it along to another friend who is frequently in it and also is the one who would usually produce the Evil Dead the musical. About 3 years ago, his 50th birthday was coming up, and Bruce Campbell was coming through on a book tour. So I went there and I brought in a chainsaw blade for him to autograph to pass along to my friend. And he autographed it as Bruce and as Ash. So it's even better. So I gave it to that friend for his birthday, etc. And he's got that. I don't know, where's Mantle? I don't know where it is. Lots of fun stuff.
So we got a comment here from Willow Schuyler about my Peter David comment. She said, we hosted Peter David at our sci-fi convention about 5 years ago. He was great to hang out with. Sorry you had a bad experience with him. I hope if you two have another chance at meeting, it will be different. Well, you never can tell. He did not like my line of questioning when he was writing She-Hulk because it did not jive with what he was planning to do. And so anyway, he got irritated with me. That's all I'll say about that.
I've always loved his stuff. And anytime we've gotten together, he's been a blast to hang out with. I once actually left him speechless, which is really, really hard to do if you've ever met him.
Well, I can believe that it is hard to do. And I'll tell you, Dave, I like his work a lot. His recent run on the Phantom, he did a Phantom series for
Hermetic Press. Interesting.
Yeah, which was really, really, really good.
I just went back and watched the Billy Zane movie about
one of my favorite
I haven't
movies.
seen it in a while. Yeah, the Phantom and the Shadow came out around the same time. I always liked the Phantom a lot better.
Yeah, I did too.
People kind of lean towards the Shadow, but I love everything about the Phantom. Did you ever see there was a short run cartoon called Phantom 2040?
Yeah, I've got it on DVD. I've got the whole series.
Okay, cool, good. I went back and looked at that like a year ago, and oh my gosh, this animation! I don't know how I ever watched this before. It was great. It was kind of Eon Flux ish.
It was made by Nelvana Studios.
Yeah,
but
the animation it really wasn't what I was, I guess, in the mood for. Now.
Sure,
I don't know.
sure. Well, hey,
the stories are interesting.
Speaking of movies, DL. Did you have an opportunity to see Wonder Woman 84 this weekend?
I have not. And honestly, I kind of get the feeling that I might need to wait until it is not first run, or I'm not seeing a lot of great reviews. Everybody that I've seen, even diehard Wonder Woman fans, are like, meh.
I've heard a whole lot of meh. Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt about it. We went and saw it last night. I thought it was adequate, but I would, if someone wants to see it, I'd wait until it comes out on rental.
I hear that Cheetah, Kristen Wiig's character, is a little too CGI. It's kind of harkening back to the musical Cats movie. I'm like, oh no, please don't do that.
Well, I had no problem with her character design or the CGI on her. It was really well done. It was very short.
That was the other thing.
the whole sequence with her as that character, once she transformed, it was maybe 3 minutes of screen time in that form. But the story of her getting there was more interesting. Her character was more interesting than Wonder Woman. And
Really?
yeah, I wanted to see more of Barbara Minerva than I did Diana Prince. And that's a problem for a movie that, you know, has Wonder Woman on the title. Go ahead.
And just considering how well accepted that the first one was, I like I said, I'm a diehard Wonder Woman fan, so I definitely will go see it. And I was debating whether or not I was going to do the whole rent out a movie theater and take friends and family and go, but I just that's one that I'm hearing too poor of reviews to justify doing that at this point. So I'm hoping I hear some good stuff.
It wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't caliber. It wasn't at the level it should have been.
Well, compared to the other recent DC movies, was it middle?
I would, I'll tell you, for the DC movies, I would consider Aquaman the best. And
indeed entertaining, and the visuals were astounding.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I would put this just below the last Harley Quinn movie.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Birds of Prey. I would put Wonder Woman right under that.
That's good, huh? Okay.
Well, my hierarchy would be Aquaman, Wonder Woman 1 is number 2, and then I would put after that I would put maybe.
Then they're all at the bottom.
Yeah, they're all kind of the same bottom tier.
All tied for last, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the big problems with Wonder Woman 84 was they tried to shoehorn in this Deus Ex Machina love story with Steve Trevor that just, for me, fell real flat. But there is a great mid-credit scene that makes going to see the movie worth it. But that's all I'll say.
Do they at least have a in-universe convincing-ish reason for Steve Trevor?
No. I mean,
that's the part that had me curious.
I mean, his resurrection makes sense in the story, but it's very.
Okay, well, that's all I ask. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I also went and saw Monster Hunter this weekend, and this was a movie.
Did that just come out?
It did. It did.
Okay,
it came out last weekend.
Okay.
And I was so busy I didn't get a chance to see it until Wednesday. Went with my son, and one of the other regular co-hosts, Aubry, went with us so that we could talk about it this morning. And I was so excited about Monster Hunter because what's more exciting than post-apocalyptic kaiju destruction, right? I'm like, because the trailers made it look like Mad Max meets a Godzilla movie, and I had no idea it was based off of a video game. And my son and Aubry both had been playing the games, and so they were very familiar with the universe and the world that the movie just drops you in the middle of with no explanation of how it is, why it is, who the characters are. You don't learn any of the characters' names. And there's no discernible story and no discernible resolution to the story. They set it up to have a sequel, but I have no desire to see a sequel. It didn't leave me wanting to see more. I was like, literally, okay, when does this get to the point? When does this movie end? I've got stuff to do.
So it has as much story and background as your typical video game, then, huh?
I guess, and I'm not a big video gamer.
Me neither. I used to work in the industry, and then, well, there's an old saying: people who enjoy eating sausage should not watch it being made. After doing it for a living, I haven't really been that interested since,
Now, Cindy, are you into gaming? You've got a gaming headset.
Actually, this is my Dragon headset so that I can talk to Dragon and get it to type my stories in. But I used to be very much into video games. Back in the, what would that be? That'd be the 90s. I was playing Might and Magic and all the Ultima series, and I had an Atari 2600 eons ago, and worked on being able to roll over most of the games we had. So I used to be very, very heavily into gaming.
D'Elle, are you into video games at all?
Not at all. Not at all. And I hate to say that. So,
well, I used to be kind of like Cindy. I was into games big time, Atari 2600, Sega Genesis, the original Nintendo Entertainment System. But as I've gotten older, I've lost interest. I don't really care to play video games. I would rather sit down with a great analog board game and, friends who are like intensely into it and have that one-on-one analog experience.
And speaking of one last screen share here, this is a gift I don't have yet, but I have kickstarted, and I know they are working on it. Looking forward to finally getting the They Live board game.
Oh!
Wow.
Two really, really fun parts of it. Let me see if I can kind of zoom in on the dice here. The dice on some sides say chew bubblegum, on some sides say kick ass. That's how you know how many successes you get.
That's phenomenal.
And the other really fun thing is it comes with a set of Hoffman lenses. Some of the cards that you draw have secret text.
Yay.
That is awesome.
I know.
Unbelievably cool. So
it's my favorite Carpenter movie. The one I probably watch the most is Big Trouble in Little China, but They Live is actually my favorite for a lot of reasons. Several years ago, I was at a horror convention, and the guest of honor was John Carpenter. And I was already set up to preach a sermon on that Sunday, since it was, a 2 or 3, whatever day it was. So that was the first time I'd ever preached a sermon about a single movie. And I preached a whole sermon about They Live. And that was a whole bunch of fun to do.
That is great. So a lot of people watching, they might ask the question, because I don't bring it up a whole lot on the show, but you and I are both Christians, and you preach at geek community events and conventions and whatnot. Do you ever get asked this question? How does geek culture and your Christianity coexist?
Yeah, and back when I started doing this in the 90s, it seemed like I was bringing geek culture to the church even more than I was bringing church to the geek culture. Like my biggest, questioners or protesters or whatever, or all that kind of came more from the church than, from nerds saying, hey, we don't want that stuff here. It was more, isn't that stuff evil and satanic? And no, it's just stuff,
Yeah. Like me, I filter everything through the lens of Scripture. That's why I've never played the original Cards Against Humanity. But, I'm ready to play the family version. We'll see how that works out.
Now, there is one game that is a little similar to Against Humanity. Do you know the Cyanide and Happiness web comic? Mm-hmm. It's based on that, and it's called Joking Hazard.
I've seen that game. Yeah.
Yeah. So you start off with 2 panels in front of everybody, and then from your hand you find what you think is the funniest panel to fit. So it's not as vulgar, but still as maybe as inappropriately funny, if you want to say.
Excellent. Well, let's speaking of geek culture, I wanted to talk a little bit. This is our final show for 2020, and I wanted to talk about what we thought the best and worst of 2020 for pop culture was. And I'll lead off, and you guys can kind of riff off this or bring your own items. I think the best and worst, they're the same thing, and they're both caused by the COVID pandemic. Is the loss of so many conventions. It's the worst thing that's happened in 2020, and I think it's the best thing that's happened in 2020. And a lot of people look at me like, what do you mean? And I think we became way oversaturated with cons in this country. There was a major con every weekend somewhere. And Dave, you can probably relate to this when you were talking about conglomeration, that a lot of cons were holding on just because they felt like they had to. They had like this sense of obligation to their fans, and there's this tradition. We can't just let this go. And there were a lot of cons that were no longer what do you call it? They were no longer viable. They were losing money, hemorrhaging money, and the best thing that could have happened to them was for the decision to be taken out of the organizers' hands and let them leave the marketplace.
Yeah.
So
in the case, conglomeration wasn't, waning in quality. It wasn't, going under financially. It was, everybody still loved it. It was usually considered like a geek family reunion. It was a small con, maybe 600-700 people, whatever. And usually, hang out with the, 2 or 3 or 4 celebrities that came in, just like normal people. It wasn't an autograph, meat market line kind of thing. So everybody loved it. It just, the old team was getting tired and didn't think it was, right or whatever to pass on. So this was going to be the last. Other people, oh my gosh, we got to save it. And then this year didn't happen. So I don't know if there will be any more.
Yeah,
but that is a good best and worst, because it's sad we can't see all of our friends in person, but it's great that we can see even more people, all over the world all the time now.
Well, and it's brought about this kind of technology to the masses that we can stream live from different places, and that was always there. But the enhancements and the accessibility have become amazing during these unprecedented times. But I think what we're going to see in the geek culture community in terms of conventions is because we've had this paring down, and a lot of conventions have said, well, we're going to postpone. But we know they're never coming back, some of them. There are some cons that will never return, and that's going to be okay, because we're paring down, and we're going to get it's going to be more special again. And I think maybe the quality of the events is going to be better in the long run. So for me, the best of 2020 and the worst of 2020, I forgot to mention one thing. When we were talking about movies, the movie to see, the good movie to see this weekend is on Disney Plus, Pixar's Soul. Outstanding. Phenomenal. That is the best movie of 2020. So check that out. So Dave, what is your best and worst in pop culture for 2020?
I'd say the worst would be losing so many people that we love. Chadwick Boseman, Alex Trebek, so many people that will no longer kind of officially be a part of our lives and doing and making new stuff. That's sad. But just like the convention disappearing, I suppose you can say it does make us appreciate their body of work even more. The best, I would say, is always going to be whatever is most personal to all of us, the things we do with our close friends and family, stuff like that. It isn't a brand new 2020 event or anything. It's an old movie, but my son and I watched Die Hard together yesterday for the first time. He loved it. He can't wait to watch number 2 today. Number 2 is actually my favorite. I know that's not most people's favorite, but I've always loved it tremendously. So we're going to go through a bunch of them and just kind of make that our thing.
That's outstanding.
One of our things, anyway.
Yeah, that's great. Cindy?
Okay, the best and the worst. Let's see. The worst, I think, is how the strain of the current situation has gotten a lot of people to stop creating.
Yeah.
That their output is either slowed down or stopped altogether. Because I think that deprives them of an opportunity, but it also deprives the rest of us of the incredible art that they could have produced. And I guess in a way it's just sort of delayed and they'll get there. But I think if a lot of creators are like I am and have like a ton and a half of projects in a bag file that you'll never get to all of them, there are just some that are gone and will never be produced. I think the best thing was the adaptation of some of the cons going virtual. For example, Demicon is usually the first weekend in May, and because it's just a local Des Moines con, the people coming in for visits are very restricted to the local area. But because this one went virtual, we had people chiming in from the other side of the planet who normally wouldn't be able to attend at all, but because they could attend, they got to chat with those of us who are over here on this part of the planet.
That's a great best of. The technology has changed a lot of things for us. And by the way, Jamie Slocum is watching, and he just said, "Sounding good, guys." Jamie Slocum is one of my oldest friends. He's also a top 10 contemporary Christian recording artist and an Evel Knievel freakosaurus. So, Jamie, if you didn't see D'Elle's Evel Knievel reissue, you missed it. You need to go out and get one. So, D'Elle, what do you think in terms of pop culture, geek community, was the best and worst? The best gift, the worst gift? What did we get or lose this year?
You know, for me personally, I think it was just not being able to interact with the friends and family that I had made over the years, just attending cons. And as Cindy was saying, you know, there's a lot of stifled creativity because people were very unsure when they were going to be able to be back in the world and present their art. And even for me, there were a lot of opportunities that we were working on projects that we were just like, I just don't have the heart to do it right now. So yeah, I think that we're just missing personal interaction in general, whether it is at cons, with your friends, with your family, because I know that mine has been definitely very limited. On the opposite side of this, I'm kind of going to go along with what Dave was saying. I've had a wonderful opportunity. The Mister and I have had a wonderful opportunity to start watching a lot of classic movies and shows with my youngest child. Last night we started Gargoyles, and she is absolutely in love with it. So we've like gone through Jim and the Holograms, and now we're on the Gargoyles. I mean, we're reaching back and finding things that she can connect with, but will also kind of connect her with the two of us a little bit more as well. So lots of bonding time with the kid, but I am missing a lot of my friends.
So is Jim truly, truly outrageous?
Truly, truly.
Now, I have a question for you, D'Elle. You have a daughter that's the same age as my son, my older son.
Okay.
Now, my son thinks that he's into geek culture and pop culture, and he loves, video games and comics, but he thinks that us at our age doing what we do is absolutely embarrassing. Does your daughter feel the same way?
First of all, how old is your son? Because I have two daughters that have a very drastic age difference.
Yeah, your older daughter. My
older daughter.
Yeah.
You know what? No, not really. My older daughter has never really been embarrassed by this. When I started cosplaying, she cosplayed alongside of me. So
I remember that.
Yeah, we've only had one incident where it was basically an ex-boyfriend of hers. His dad was a little weirded out by the fact that we were doing this, but she's I mean, she's kind of an uber nerd too. I mean, she's got a Captain America helmet that Stan Lee signed, and so I mean, she's very much into Marvel and Star Wars, and so she loves all of this. Actually, and my youngest one is pretty much the same way. She's just a little more shy about it.
Well, she's not shy on Instagram. She's like an Instagram cosplay celebrity.
She'd love to hear that.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. Hey, I forgot to show you guys this. I got the Marvel Legends Captain America shield with the leather straps on the back.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's been sitting under my foot, and I forgot to show it earlier. That was the epic Christmas gift.
Of course, the nice part is the magnetic return to your arm button.
Yeah, it didn't come with that.
Sold separately. Understand?
Yeah.
Batteries required.
Well, guys, any last thoughts you guys want to share with our audience? Gather your thoughts up. We're a little over an hour. We're going a little bit long this week, but why not? It's the Christmas season. And I will just say, if you guys love what you see and what you hear, support the show via PayPal, make a donation, and all of that goes to improve what we're doing. And I can see right now I need to make an improvement to my backdrop because the sun is coming in for the first time ever. It's not been a problem in previous episodes, but today it's a problem. So you learn something new every day. And D'Elle has her lovely Grogu. She looks so content. And what is on the agenda today? Are you guys going out to the stores? Are you staying home? Are you eating leftovers? What is happening in the life of Cindy Koepp today?
I have a couple errands to run, and then when I get back, I'm taking a course on email marketing online, and so I'm going to do the next couple modules on that, and then continue working on the Animal Eye Issue 2 script, because I need to get that done before the artist is done with the artwork on 1.
So I will say, make sure you check out Cindy's website, ckoepp.com, for all of her good stuff. And Cindy is an awesome friend and fan to the creative community. And I really, really appreciate everything you've done to help promote my work. And I'm super excited that you were on the show. So check out her website, ckoepp.com. And Dave, what are you doing today? What's on the agenda? Die Hard 2.
Yeah. We also usually have a bi-weekly Friday night game. That would have been last night. Some people apparently thought Christmas was more important. So we did all agree to move it to this afternoon. So I will be a superhero in the 70s. That'll be fun. And the guy who runs it is the guy who came up with the serial killer stuff. In this case, it's the DC universe. Middle street level kind of things. A lot of us are tied in some way to the JSA. I have a Sandman's old gun, the original Sandman, the gas gun, put people to sleep. I'm Dr. Sand, who treats him, treats his former sidekick, who is the Sandman that most people would know. Neil Gaiman, he got to turn into a crystalline thing. But all of that hadn't happened yet. So I'm, kind of taking up the mantle of that and carrying on as Dr. Sand.
Outstanding.
Fun.
D'Elle, what is next for you? And where can people find you?
Where can people find me? You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. You can find my band, The Murder and Crows, on YouTube. You can find me a lot of different places. As for today, honestly, I think I'm going to continue binge watching Gargoyles with the youngest, and I will probably bake cookies or something.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
We're doing game night tonight with the family. I have 2 game groups. One that is, the family game stuff, the silly telestrations, and we play a game a lot called Snake Oil. If you've never seen it,
oh yeah,
it's phenomenal.
That's fun.
just those silly, lighthearted games. And then I have a game group where we actually play real board games. But tonight it's the family group, and we're eating leftovers. And I'm going to be on Reels and Heels today, another podcast at 2 p.m. Talking about pro wrestling, one of my passions. So join me on that on Reels and Heels. They have a Facebook and YouTube channel, but check out my work at johnpica.com. And you can see all the other stuff that I'm into, League of Impossibilists and whatnot. Anybody else have any last words that you want to share?
One more screen cap here for you. Since you mentioned wrestling, this is sometimes how I go out shopping.
That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
As the gobbler.
El Pollo Loco, the Mad Chicken. He is the fair fowl.
Wasn't that the name of the restaurant in Breaking
Apparently
Bad?
it was. I didn't know that.
No.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Actually, one final thing, a memoriam, if you would not mind. Last weekend in the mail, we got this for my wife. She's a huge Wizard of Oz fan. That came in the mail, and this, a music box over the rainbow. They both came in, sadly, the day that she died. So I know that she would have loved both of those, but I didn't get a chance to show her to her beforehand. So, well, take the time to enjoy your loved ones, everyone.
Yes, that is my goal for 2021. I don't want to go into it, but I had a complete change of priorities after I survived COVID, narrowly survived COVID.
Yeah, I'm glad you are better.
And I'm stepping back from a lot of projects, from performing on stage and doing entertainment stuff, so that I can devote more time to friends and family and travel and go be and do with people that I know personally, instead of devoting so much time to entertaining complete strangers.
I can understand that.
Yeah. And D'Elle, what part of the country are you in?
I'm in Memphis.
Okay. There's in Louisville, there's a conference when things start happening again called Wonderfest that I think you would like. It's a conference that's going on 30 some odd years, dedicated to special effects and model making. And has a lot of horror. It isn't a horror theme, but I'd say at least a third of the people and creatures and things there are horror focused. Back when he was still around, a Harryhausen used to come. Like Riff Tracks his own stuff. He'd have the movie behind him, and he'd say, "Oh, and we did this like that," and it was amazing.
I'm a huge horror fan. I do a lot of horror cons.
It was a complete, a shot in the dark. I didn't think horror was your thing. It seemed kind of strange, but ever get a chance, I think you'd like it.
When cons return, the one I want to go to, and D'Elle, you and Daryl need to come with me. We need to go to Cryptid Con.
Yes.
In Lexington, Kentucky. Yes.
Count us in.
Yep, we're going to make that a thing.
And the drive-in tour.
Yes, I'm still working on that. We're going to do it. All right, guys and gals, thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Back of the Cereal Box. You can watch us in replay on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you continue to comment. If you like the show, make sure you post a comment, subscribe on YouTube, like the Facebook page. We also have an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify, and bonus material on the YouTube channel, game reviews and comic reviews and all kinds of fun stuff. And if you are out there and you would like to be a contributor, we are looking to expand our network with people who do video and audio reviews and even blogging. Wink, wink, hint, hint. So just give us a shout if you're interested in being a contributor to the Back of the Cereal Box Network. And with that, I will sign us out and say thanks for tuning in, everyone. Merry Christmas. And if you had a fun time, tell 200-300 of your closest friends and family to come share the fun. And until the next time, we'll catch you on the flip side.
And one last game review or game recommendation for you, John, that I think you would like a lot. It's a very fast, fun family game called Who Would Win?
I'll check it out.
It only takes 1 minute to play and 10 seconds to teach. Each player draws a person card. Might be a Darth Vader, Peter Pan, George Bush, Rosa Parks, whatever. And then you each have 20 seconds to say why your character would beat the other one at kayaking or babysitting or knitting or whatever. Really fun.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the flip side. Have a great rest of the Christmas holiday.
Bye-bye.
And we are out.